For this project, these flowers need to be white. If I use white glass, it's opaque, and that's a really dead kind of glass to use, and it also unbalances the window, so the other glass is transparent, the white is opaque. That doesn't work. So I'm going to try using a very light dusting of white powdered frit, which is this stuff, and put it in the kiln and see how it comes out. So first of all, I'm going to cut out this flower that I drew yesterday. So this is special fusing compatible glass, which is very important, and it's called Tecta, and it's made by Bullseye. So there it is. This is my sieve, so I tend to put it in above a piece of paper so that I'll be able to collect the bits that fall through. Now I'm going to put more in the darker areas and less in the areas where I want it to look as if it's catching the light. And what I might do is see if I've got a straw that I can blow it around with, but I only want a light dusting really, because it does go opaque. So there, that's probably enough. So I will put that in the kiln. And now, just to show you what I do to collect as much of this as I can without losing it. That piece of paper I had it on. There. Now, the next thing I'm going to do involves testing another piece of glass. So this is some more powdered frit. This is red. Now you're thinking that doesn't look red. That's because when the finer they grind glass, the more it loses its colour. A bit like when you sandblast the surface of glass. When this gets fired and fused to this, it will go red. So I'm going to do a graduated effect. Again, I'm going to do it on a piece of paper so that I can collect up the leftovers. I'm going to try it really quite thick at this end. So the idea is I'll have this as a reference when I'm doing the actual piece. So again, now to put it in the kiln. I'm going to do some experiments with yellow frit as a possible option for making the stamens. So I've made a little stencil. It may not work. No, hasn't worked at all. Let's try it a different way. I don't want to lay it on because I could only do one per firing. So I'll try sprinkling it less thickly. That's not too bad, but I made a mess on the other side. So I'll try that again. Probably shouldn't have cut the stencil so close to the edge. So this colour I'm using is an opal yellow. Opal means it's not transparent. So it will stand out very well. I'm just going to try this now. And actually those little drops, I quite like those. It's sort of a bit more natural than neat. So that's opal yellow. I've got a couple of different yellows to choose from. But first, I have to get this back in the bag. These are little sample bags you can buy. Oop. So that's opal. Now the next one, what shall I do next? So this is dark amber tint. I really don't know what the tint bit of it means. But we will find out when I fire it. Don't work a lot with this technique. So quite often I forget stuff that I once knew. So that's dark amber tint. This is medium amber tint, this next one. That's medium amber tint. And the last one is medium amber transparent. Right, so I shall put this in the kiln now. I want to see what it's going to look like if I mix white with a bit of yellow, because there are areas I might want to do that. So I'll put a bit of white on. to collect up. Now, I'm not going to use the opal because I don't want to mix. I will try the amber, medium amber transparent. Let's see what that looks like. Just a little bit. Just want to see if I just take the edge off the white, how that looks. I should just make it darker on the edge so I've got a bit of a variety so I can compare, because this may come out incredibly subtle, and at the distance I'm working I need it to be stronger than when I'm looking at it on my workbench. So that is something to remember when you're making a window that's going to go up high. You have to exaggerate everything. So don't make it so it looks right on your workbench. Make it so it's going to look right from, 60 feet away. So I'll pop these in the kiln and we'll come back to them tomorrow when they're cooked. So now to cook them. My kiln has got a lot of programs, can't remember how many, but this is the program I'm following today. It's my full fuse, so I'll leave that on the screen for a while. This is my controller. So kilns come with, let's see, program 1. They come with controllers. Let's see, I want program 4. Is that right? Yeah, program 4. And then that little arrow there indicates what segment I'm on at the moment. That's lit up, so that means the temperature is rising. When it gets to this bit here, that's a rest. That indicates rest, so you might rest it at a particular temperature for a certain time. Or no, that means it's got to temperature. That means it's resting. Then if this arrow is lit up, it means it's bringing the temperature down again. It might get to temperature, rest for a while, then bring it down some more. So this tells me it's 8 degrees at the moment. And this will probably take about 24 hours. And we're taking it up to 804 degrees. It's the next day, and the kiln is at 33 degrees, and you can see from the arrow it's still cooling, which it will continue to do until it gets to, I don't know what I put as its end temperature, but 32 degrees is more than cool enough to open the kiln without shocking the glass. So let's have a look. Right. So that is beautiful. Really happy with that. It will look different when it hasn't got white behind it, but basically I've got a lovely graduation. Really nice. Very pleased with that. So that was just the red. So when I mix it with the yellow and the and some dark red as well, I might not even need orange because that reads as orange, doesn't it? These are quite interesting. I quite like that. But I may just use paint instead of Frit. This was white frit mixed with a bit of yellow. You can't see the yellow at all. Well, you can a bit, but I obviously have to use a bit more. I think it was amber, not yellow. And this I'm going to have to wash the frit off, I think, because not the frit. I'm going to have to wash the dust off because the white dust is kind of confusing the me sort of seeing the results. But I suspect I'll have to put it on a bit more heavily. This has come out too subtle. I mean, I can see it, but and you can still see through it, which is what I want to achieve. But I'm going to put some more on and put it back in the kiln. But I wanted to show you that it shrinks when it goes in the kiln. So you can see it's come in maybe 1.5 mil all the way round, and it also gets thicker. So hopefully you can see it's about, I mean, in order to have shrunk, obviously it will have got thicker. I mean, it's a lot less than 1 millimetre, but it has. And actually every time I put it in the kiln, it has a sort of cumulative thermal effect, and it will keep shrinking and getting thicker. So I'm going to put some more on. Just to darken it up in some places. Oh, rather a lot came out. But I put a lot in the middle so that I've got something to contrast with. And this may spoil. I may decide there's too much for it on here, powder. And that's fine. This is just an experiment. There. So I'll now put that back in the kiln and come back to it tomorrow. I'm going to redo this piece as well because I did this too subtly. So there's a bit more white. Now I will put on dark amber, medium amber tint. So this is medium amber transparent, and I'm just going to put a lot more on. I would prefer yellow, but the only yellow I've got is opal. I don't want to have opal because it blocks the light. So I'll just put a lot of this on. Yeah. So next day, let's have a look. Aha. So this one, that's very nice. It's still very pale, but it's got a very nice graduation to it. I like that. Now let's see how this one is. Right, I shall take it over to the light box. I think that will give me a better idea about whether I've got the right density of powder. So this is my pieces on a light box, and I'm quite pleased with this one. I will paint it up and see what the effect is. It might be that this bit is a bit too dense, but I won't really know until it's all painted. But pretty happy with my samples so far.